I'm at the intersection of South Lamar and West Mary, or Heather, observing the traffic at the driveway that is just north of that intersection that accesses the Chase ATM. As you can see in the far left, there's a clearance bar that cars are supposed to drive under so that they don't rip the canopy off of the Chase overhang. But people are coming in the driveway directly off Lamar, immediately adjacent to the intersection, and therefore aren't having to make sure they will make the 9-foot clearance before they pull under the canopy. What we're seeing a lot, which I hope to see here shortly, is, for example, this van turning right. Once he's got clearance to the left and no more oncoming traffic, he's going to turn right thinking he's got a clear shot, but oftentimes people going south on Lamar, kind of like this white Honda, are actually going to turn into the driveway to the ATM. They're not waiting, oftentimes, they're not waiting to turn left onto the street beyond the van, but they're going to cut in front of the intersection and turn into the ATM. And neighbors have seen many a near wreck with people doing that, because here comes this van. Okay, so no accident there, but had that white car been planning to turn into the ATM and there not been any oncoming traffic from south, they would have hit each other because they had no reason to think they were going to cross paths. So, of course, I'm not catching any of this problem now. The other thing is, some of this northbound traffic may think that the person in front of them is, even if they have their blinker on. Whoa, there we go. Perfect example. Perfect example of what's been happening. And that couldn't have been a closer call without being a wreck. Enough said. Let's stay here and see what else might happen. Also, I noticed the bike lane dies right there. Here comes this bicyclist losing her lane, and here comes a box truck right next to her, straddling the lane to get around her. This is scary. This is also the site of a bar, I don't remember the name, 1901 South Lamar. That's got a site plan in, and it apparently will cause this rogue driveway to the ATM to be closed, but the neighbors are wanting it closed sooner rather than later, because it should have been closed when the ATM was put in the first place. And if you see the red bollards here along the sidewalk, there used to be chains hanging across there when this was Willie's service station. So there's no reason why they couldn't easily block it off even before the curbing requirements of the bar redevelopment kick in. There's also a driveway to West Mary that I'll shoot in a minute that is supposed to be an exit only, and only for the ATM traffic, but people are using it to come through. They cut through from Mary, come through the parking lot, and enter Lamar right here in the driveway in front of me, the one that's not to be closed off. But because of that ingress from West Mary, it's causing more traffic hazards for anybody that might be entering to use the ATM the correct way, this driveway in the forefront. Anybody that wants to come in here and then go under that clearance bar oftentimes is encountering traffic that's cutting through from Mary and trying to go north on Lamar. So it's a setup for a perfect storm. And before this fencing was put in for this bar remodel, this whole parking lot was open to that kind of cut through, and people would cut straight at me from where that car is sitting in traffic. Here comes a truck cutting through. Thank you for the perfect example. There's his license number, 69CLT4. So that kind of cut through is creating all kinds of potential problems. Some I probably haven't even thought of, certainly haven't mentioned. And then, of course, there's the ongoing problem of the intersection itself because of the crookedness of it and the protected lefts and unprotected lefts, whatever they are. I've many times been nearly T-boned in this intersection. Standing out here earlier for about 20 minutes, we saw about, I think, 6 infractions. Oh, one of which is people going south on Lamar, getting in the left turn lane, and then not turning left, but making a U-turn. For example, this silver car might be planning to make a U-turn using this driveway that we want to have closed, that the neighborhoods want to have closed. Using that driveway as part of their U-turn, they pull into that far driveway, this side of the intersection, cut through under the clearance bar for the ATM, and then come back northbound through this closer driveway. So the silver car is not going to do it, but we have seen it happen several times. And again, if he were to do that and the silver car that's sitting on Mary waiting to turn right didn't have reason to know he's going to be turning into the driveway, then their right turn could T-bone somebody doing a U-ey to go back northbound. Again, here's another good situation. This Rio right here with its blinkers on could be intending to turn left into the ATM and could try to do so even before his light turns green because he could think that light's not for him. He's not going through the intersection. Therefore, the light doesn't apply to him. But maybe this one's not going to do that. Also, these cars coming at me in the right lane, if they don't turn right onto the street, but then they do turn right into the ATM, that driveway that shouldn't be there, the first one, farther one, if they turn right into that, people behind them are probably thinking that, well, when he didn't turn right at the light, then he isn't going to turn right. But then they do, and as you just saw, could get rear-ended. Another interesting dynamic here, this truck came in from Mary to use the ATM, and now apparently has walked up to the ATM instead of driving around to it. Today is Saturday, September 10th, 2011. Fun day on South Lamar. And the property owners nearby at Sazon across the street and at the little office complex under the custom sound sign apparently see this kind of mayhem happening all the time. And people have reported it to 311, but apparently there's not been a consistent enough methodology for reporting it or turning it in or knowing if it's a traffic or a transportation or a police or a site plan or a right-of-way or a street and bridge or what. There's another close call. Oh, also we saw these cars queuing up. Just shortly before I started recording this, we saw 3 cars waiting in line, and so one's rear end was sticking out into the intersection with all this oncoming traffic. Again, if they were using this closer driveway, that queue wouldn't build up so bad. And granted, it's a little funky now because of this fencing, which maybe the corner could get rounded off so that the queuing could be more effective. But the bigger problem is that one driveway still being open. Oops, here comes somebody finally using it the right way. How about that? Oh, no, they're not. They're using it for a U-turn. Thank you. Perfect example. I think I almost got one of everything we wanted to